something else.
All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 208. Jesus Christ, 208. You gotta be here on Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, WRC Podcast. It's your boy Kaleo, CB E. Rich, and our special guest tonight, Miss Shanti Das. Oh my God, what an amazing show we're gonna have tonight. What a great show. Everybody off mute. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 208. And this is gonna be my favorite episode so far of the 200 series. We got Shanti Das in the house. CB, who we got in the house? Let's start with that. Who's in the comments?
We got Tia in the comments, Dave G on the mic, a familiar face, and then our boy Shad.
Okay. We'll be chiming in shortly. How is everyone's week going? We're going to get straight into this show. How's everybody's week going? Let's start with you, CB.
I mean, work has really fired itself up this week. So if I had any free time at work, it's now gone. And it's looking like it's going to be like that till the end of the year. So this is the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to, bro. A break from all that. So really looking forward to the show and excited about us having Shanti on here.
Gotta have your outlets, right? What's good with you, bro?
You know, it never rains in Southern California. The weather's been cool out here, and you know, I'm on track watching my Dodgers do their thing. You know, if we get this win tonight, you know, World Series bound. You know, we need something to cheer about out here because we're not going to get into all of that. Work has been working, life has been lifing, but we here today. We're gonna have a real good time. And of course, you know, my segment is it's that time of year, so we'll just leave it at that.
All right. Our special guest tonight, Shanti. How is your week going?
First of all, thank y'all for having me. I'm really excited to be on with y'all tonight. My week is going, you know, I'm coming off a good weekend. I was just in New York this past weekend. I did a mental health conference for Charlemagne, and I got to go to Saturday Night Live for the first time in my life. So that was kind of dope.
Your week has been better than mine.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's well, I didn't go to Saturday Night Live. I didn't see Charlemagne. I did see CB at work today.
Highlight.
He's short like Charlemagne, I think, though.
Nah, for real, who's shorter, man?
Oh, you are probably with the calves. Anyways, well, CB is very aware of he has short calves, small calves, and we talk about that all the time. So that's how we are here.
It's a miracle I can stand.
Week is going good. Definitely good to have your outlets. We've been waiting and preparing for this one for a few weeks now. So been about business, and hopefully, you know, the show should run smooth, and that's how things are going to go. So with all that said, we're going to get right into this because time is money. This is where's the Let's Wrap at? Let's Wrap portion. Okay, so let's do the setup. Let's take a trip to the movies, all right? All of us are old enough to remember when the movie theater seats were just those seats that folded up and down, and your parents had to hold. If you didn't have enough weight or you were young, your parents had to hold it down for you while you sat down. And if you didn't have enough weight, maybe it came up a little bit. Risa, welcome in. Then as we got older, maybe the seats transformed. Cardo, welcome. The seats kind of became more of a leathery kind of plush seating. Mm-hmm. And then up until recent, you know, we got the recliners, right? And that's been the movie theater experience. And then you can also pick where you want to sit at. So, you know, when you go to the movie theater, you don't have to worry about climbing over everybody trying to find two seats, because there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a movie and the people who come late and they're looking up and down the aisles for seats together. And it's just not going to happen. But now you can pick your own seats. Okay, well, cool. But now, making its way around the internet, and I've seen these before. I was like, you know, now it's the perfect time to talk about it. The bed cinema.
Stop playing.
They are putting beds in the movie theater. Now, get my lips together. All right. These bed cinemas are popping up. This one I have a picture of is in Bangkok, but it's only it's only a matter of time before these pop up across the states, and there's probably some here and there, but this is the one, that's where the image is from. So now you can lay down in the theater. Now, The recliner was bad enough, right? Because you could fall asleep in the recliner. A cold theater's dark, and if the movie had a dry spot, and you really just wasn't there to watch. You was taking your kids or whatever, you're out. But now you got a bed, and we're talking about silk sheets, pillows, yeah, all of it. So if I wanted to watch a movie in bed, guess where I'm going? To my bedroom. I'm not going to spend $30+ on 2 or more tickets to go somewhere and lay in a bed with a bunch of other people in the room too. It's a little awkward, right? They get places for that, and it's not movie theater, right? So, and it's only a matter of time before these bedroom theaters. Anyway, so my question is, if these things started popping up across in your city, are you going to visit a bedroom theater? And first of all, I have problems staying in hotels and sleeping in those beds.
Are they changing the sheets?
After every movie, underpaid teenager, maybe in their 20s. Are you changing? Let's talk about this. We'll start with you, Shanti. Your thoughts on the bedroom theater?
Yeah, no, I'm good on that one. It's just too much. I can remember being a young girl going to the movies, and when I was dating or whatever. It's too much for public consumption, right? I don't need y'all all up in my business like that. And to your point, I would definitely fall asleep just because of me now in my age, like. And the movies are expensive right now. So, I don't need to be that comfortable in the theater.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is a no-go. At best, they got that, what's this? It's a theater called I Pick Theaters, right? And at least they're like pods, right? But it's it's a luxury seat that reclines. There is no sheets. They do offer a blanket, but I mean, you buy the blanket, which is in a plastic bag or something like that. So it's like, there's like, that's it. Stop right there. You don't need to keep going any further. You know what I mean? They upscaled it where you can order your food and they bring it to you. Like, that's cool. But again, you're still talking about when you get to a certain age, that movie gonna be watching you, especially if you got good food, if they got good food and good drinks. Listen, after the credits, you might catch some people in there already.
I went to a theater where I had a waiter. That was the most crazy thing. Like, wait a minute, you gonna come to my seat every 5 minutes and check on me? That's crazy.
I'm actually not mad at the servers, but
I'm not mad at that either. I'm just how the movie theaters have evolved. I mean, you got to get people back in the theaters, right? Because that's been the issue for a while, especially after the pandemic. My bad. Go ahead, E. All right, CB.
I'm with y'all, man. I'm trying to figure out what is the angle of the screen gonna be, because if everyone's laying down, like, you can't set up the same way as if you were in a traditional seat. You know what I mean? And it's a guarantee. It'll be lights out, like definitely lights out, especially if they're serving alcohol. Like, so I just think that, like, there's definitely a crowd of people that this is for. Like, I think that there's definitely other people out there that might not be on this podcast that would be totally into something like this, but I think all of us are at least on the same page.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not pressed to go to any one of these. I'll be interested to see how it works. Like, how many people are actually interested in this for, like, just research purposes, but I'm not paying money to rent a bed and lay around and watch a movie that may or may not be good, and or just people out there. There's no filter anymore after social media and the internet. So we have all been desensitized, and I just don't want to be in the theater with anybody desensitizing the theater. Next, right on through. BET Hip Hop Awards happen Tuesday, October 15th. I don't even think they air yet, because typically they're not even live. But Kendrick Lamar, nominated for 11 awards, walked away with 8. We got Lyricist of the Year, Hip Hop Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Video Director of the Year, which he won with Dave Free for Not Like Us. And I'm assuming all those other categories that he won in were based around Not Like Us, because Kendrick hasn't put out albums since 2022. So let's start with the award portion of it before we dive a little deeper. One, I haven't watched BET Hip Hop Awards in a while, so this is probably going to draw people in. I don't even know if Kendrick was there to accept the award. That's I couldn't find that if he was there. But let's start with that. Deserving of those wins this year so far. Let's start with you.
You know damn well not to ask me that question where I'm from.
That's why I asked you.
Of course they're deserving. Yes, they're deserving for sure. I mean, you look at the craze and the overall the effect that song had, right? And just what that battle back and forth was doing, right? And then chess moves, right? So at the end of the day, from that time being from the song to the concert to then even the video, it was a long enough stretch where that was all that was being talked about. And rightfully so. Like the three of us on here are actual hip hop heads in the sense of like music. So call it what it is, even though they kind of oversaturated with the song, it did what it was supposed to do. And it re-energized people to be like, what kind of music are we about to get from that? And just being from a West Coast representative, you already know what it is. Like it was already the energy was already there. Like we talked about it before, from Schoolboy Q dropping his album, which again I still have in my top 5 for the year. So at this point, yeah, the West is still holding it down.
Okay, Jen Glenn, welcome in. CB.
I know we have a show that we really, really like at the end of the year where we're going to be talking a lot of music and stuff. So there's still some time for Song of the Year, but I honestly don't know how it's not like us. And definitely deserving of all the awards. It's one of those things where the whole rollout was great, and we're getting it again. You know what I mean? Like Super Bowl,
and Super Bowl is also right around Grammys time too. So I don't think he's done with Not Like Us. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good. And why should he be done? Like the joint, it's funny because it was not my favorite song that he put out during the beef or anything, right? But it really just caught the wave, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing it, especially those first couple of weeks. It was absolutely everywhere.
You and I were together when Not Like Us dropped.
Yes.
We're picking up chicken wings.
Yeah. I won't forget that, man. Like it, and the initial thought was like, really? Like this is the next thing that we got? But that was because we were expecting maybe something else. This was a much more commercial sounding song, and it really did what it was trying to do. So I've had this joint on consistent play since it came out, and I'm sure there's probably more awards for it to win. So I'm all on board with everything that Kendrick's got coming his way. Okay.
Shanti, thoughts on Kendrick's wins at the BET Awards, and I have a follow-up for you after that.
Sure. So I agree with everybody. I am curious to see if he was there. I hope he was. I haven't heard yet either. And I didn't go this year to the show, but I mean, it was lightning in a bottle. Like you couldn't script it better. I came up in hip hop, having worked with artists like Outkast and Goody Mob and others, but those like really kind of being a part of like the beginning of Southern hip hop, if you will, just being kind of respected on a global level. I loved every bit of it. I felt like it was reminiscent of like old school hip hop battles and beef back in the day, where it was strictly left on wax and people were like sitting literally like waiting to see what was next. And I'm glad that they kept it like that. Like, I don't think anything got off the streaming airways, if you will, but I think it served its purpose. It put a battery in the back, I think, for other hip hop artists, and nothing against, some really great hip hop artists out now. I just feel like, from a lyrical perspective, like I think hopefully it gave them something to think about in terms of what they're rhyming about and what they're putting out there and telling stories, as opposed to just,
okay.
I have have to carefully guard my words because I do not want to say anything negative because I respect people's art and culture, but I do think there is a difference in terms of hip hop, in the 90s and 2000 era and hip hop now. And it was just, I think it was really good for the culture and for this generation.
Okay.
And of course, Kendrick, I just love him.
Okay. So that was one of the follow-ups was how did you feel in general about the beef? Because interesting, I wanted to hear your take. Roland, welcome in. Interesting, I wanted to hear your take on that. And one of the questions was, did you think that it had gone too far? Because at a certain point, it did get ugly, right? With some of the exchanges of accusations and just bringing in kids.
That part, you gotta leave kids out of it.
Right.
And I'm the auntie in the room now. So a lot of it, I kind of stayed away from once it started getting a little too crazy. And I was like, okay, y'all, we can end this thing any minute now. But obviously the last song that come out was, the hottest one. But and I might catch some flack, but I still like Drake. I don't hate Drake, it's a lot of Drake songs I still have in rotation. And I don't get caught up in it. I just thought it was healthy for the culture. But the beat part of it, I just kind of removed myself from it. And, I respect both of them. But I mean, Kendrick is the GOAT and he came out on top, but I'm not I don't hate Drake. Right.
And I feel the same way. I'm a fan of hip hop in general. I really wasn't leaning to one side or the other. I wanted just to see a healthy battle. I thought the AI song Drake had did with the Tupac and Snoop voices was creative. He didn't like it, but I thought, there is really no major rules in the battle. It was very creative, and it was still Drake, you spitting bars, right? And it was just to egg Kendrick on. What'd you say?
We can't go there though. It was, but you gotta lead them brothers. You can't touch them. You can't play with that.
So here, okay, since we're going to get into the mental health aspect of it, of the show soon. We all know I was there. At Dreamville when Cole decided he was going to bow out. He said that's not the place that he wanted to be. He was kind of egged on into doing it and realized that's not where he wanted to be. And he was choosing peace at the time. And in his most recent lyrics, he said he saw where it was getting ready to go. He knew that it was going to get ugly. Now he's wearing the blood of his friends, or carrying around the blood of his friends, or wearing it on him. But he chose peace. And for the mental health aspects out of that, how do you feel about Cole stepping out of that? A lot of people hated the fact that he stepped out of a hip hop battle, and then that's not hip hop, that's not this, not that. But he chose peace. And why do you think Cole is getting so much flack for choosing peace out of what we've seen happen between Drake and Kendrick?
That's for me?
Yeah.
So, we've seen a lot of people recently. When I say people, particularly celebrities and folks in hip hop and pop culture and athletics as well, in sports, really stand up for themselves and be unapologetic about their mental health. I can't knock anybody for choosing peace. I could see why fans, would feel a way about it, because everybody has an opinion and everybody has a right to their opinion. But, at some point, who are you to shame somebody or judge somebody? Because you haven't walked in their shoes. You don't know what it's like. And I just think life be lifing now. And, every time you turn on social media, it's a lot of negativity. Somebody has passed away, young or old. The election drama and trauma. It's just a lot going on. And so I think in this day and age, we got to give people grace, no matter who you are, no matter whether you're in hip hop or, another genre of music. And I respect Cole. I think Cole is a deep brother. I think we see that through his lyrics. And so, kudos for him for choosing himself. I ain't mad. He has no reason that he had to insert himself into that. And if he felt like, I'm going to choose peace, then so be it.
Absolutely.
Just my opinion.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was that. Let's see. As we begin to transition, let's shout out one of our newest members of our team. It's just not showing up. Here we go. D Cup Customs.
He's not gonna answer that, TV.
He won't. He
I don't
won't.
even see it. I'll answer it afterwards. D Cup Customs, where you can save 15% now on your first purchase. WRSE15. Go to dcupcustoms.com. Get your tumblers made, your pins made. They got a slew of things. I run a commercial.
Shot glasses.
Shot glasses, just whatever you want customized in a tumbler, pin, shot glass. Hit up D Cup Customs. Shout out to Dimitri. Shout out to Doreen, even more than Dimitri. D Cup Customs. Use WRSE15. Save 15% on your first purchase. All right. Now, what was the question? Because I definitely missed it. Oh, you know we're getting the fall off. Hey, there's no question about that. You know we're getting the fall off. I mean, you better get at this point all these verses of the year that Cole has been dropping. I'm just telling you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have tonight. Look, where's my clap. Tonight. We have our special guest, Miss Shanti Das, who has an extensive resume. I mean, like major resume. Like, go to our page, WRC. We are something else. Read the bio. It's there. It tells you everything that she's into. But most recent, you see behind her, host of the Meebo show. So I'm going to lead off with the questions because look, in this bio, I've seen that you work with the likes of TLC, Tony Braxton, Erykah Badu, Outkast, Usher, but one name everybody know if they read the bio is going to stand out to me, and that's Prince. Right? We all know I'm the Prince head in the crew. My first question. First question is, what does Meebo stand for? Let everybody know where this show is getting ready to go.
Yes. So my podcast is called The Meebo Show, MI for mind and BO for body. So basically, I live at the intersection of health and culture, just talking about mental and physical health. And I interview athletes, actors, and musicians around health in general.
Okay. Now, let's just start with the musical side of everything. You've got a lot of experience in the music industry. Are there any Prince memories or stories you would like to share tonight?
Oh, Tia said I'm drinking from a D cup. What is her D cup? Is that's
one of the cups? That's from our sponsor. D Customs. Got a personalized cup. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a Prince reference. All right, so the crazy thing is, I was senior vice president of marketing at Columbia Records, and I heard that we were signing a one album deal with Prince. You know, by this time he had changed his name back, and he was Prince again. And I told the chairman of the company at the time, I was like, "Yo, I don't usually ask for much, but I'm a huge Prince fan, and so if there's any shot for me to do the marketing, let me know." So, quick little story. I'm in my office. I get a call from his assistant, and she was like, "Donnie wants to see you right away." And I'm like, "Shit, like, what did I do now? What happened?" So I had to get on the elevator, run upstairs. She was like, "Go ahead, get in there. He's waiting on you." So I'm like stressing, like, did I fuck up? Excuse me. Can we curse? I don't know. Did I mess up? And so I get to his office, and the door is kind of like halfway open. And so I was like, do I go in? Do I knock? So I kind of like peek my head in. My boss is standing in the back of the room, and it's just he and Prince in the room. He didn't tell me I had gotten the project, none of that. He just said, "Come to my office." So I'm standing there, and I open the door, and he's like, I got you. And I froze, y'all. I mean, I'm senior vice president. Like, I do this for a living. I've been in the game over 15, almost 20 years. Like, I literally froze. And so Prince looked at me, and he's like, "You gonna come in?" And I'm like, yeah. And so I had to quickly put my senior vice president hat back on. And he was like, "Hi, I'm Prince." He was like, "So I have this video that I made for musicology. I want to play it for you. I need your opinion." I'm like, "You want my opinion? Like, what is this? Cannot be my life right now." So that's how I first met Prince. And I got to do the marketing on musicology for a year. And I did the tour, and that's when the time opened up for him. And that was like right in 2004. And it was just a dream come true. Like, there were times after the shows, because he was very creative, very professional. I'd have to go into his dressing room after a show. And this is when the internet was really, starting to grow. And if it was pictures out there that he hadn't approved, we'd have to like mark the site and send it to our IT department and have it taken down. Like, he didn't play about his likeness and image, which I respect that, but that was pretty surreal. And then he and his wife would have these dope parties, strictly platonic parties, at their LA home. But like, I remember meeting like Jay Leno in his kitchen one day. Like, he'd have so many different people, and they were so gracious, and yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts.
Nice. CB.
I mean, I want to stay in that lane a little bit, because I think all of us can appreciate the stories of like hard work and dedication. And we know that you started off as an intern in the industry. Are there any good like intern stories? Because that's a job where it could weed a lot of people out. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to stick with it and all of that? And, you know, going from an entry level position all the way up to the heights that you climbed to. Is there anything, at least from the intern experience, that you could share?
Wow. I mean, so I was what years? 1991. Like I said, I'm the auntie in the room, but I was interning at Capitol Records for 2 summers in Atlanta, Georgia, and I attended Syracuse University. And just, you know, I tell people, like, don't burn bridges. I think that's really important, because in this day and age, you know, we're in a cancel culture. And so people write people off quickly, whether they're bosses or colleagues. And so the moral to the story is just try to be cool with everybody. You ain't gotta like everybody, but you need to be cool with everybody. You need to try to cultivate those relationships, grow them, and just keep them going. You might not talk to somebody for a year or 6 months or whatever. So the gentleman that I was working for at Capitol, when he left Capitol Records, you know, I stayed in touch with him, and he started consulting for LaFace Records. And he ended up calling me one day, and he was like, "Hey, would you be interested in working for LA Reid?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, what's going on?" He's like, "They need a promotions director." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, I'm just out of college. I don't even know what a promotions director means, but yeah, heck yeah, I want to apply for the job." And so it's about, you know, again, growing those relationships, nurturing them, cultivating them, and keeping it going. And also, like, going above and beyond. When you're an intern, don't just do exactly what they tell you and then be like, "Okay, well, I'm done. You know, I'm out. I'll see y'all later." Like, you got to give it your all. I remember one time there was a gentleman who did radio promotions, and I just happened to be, you know, walking by his desk, and I saw an itinerary that said Tisha Campbell. And I'm like, "That's the same Tisha Campbell from the show Martin." So I was being a little nosy. And so I was like, "Yo, what is that?" And he was like, "Oh, she's actually putting out some music. She's coming to town, doing some promo in Atlanta." I was like, "Well, can I tag along? I'll help you. I'll pass out," back in the, you know, again, this is before like the internet and social media. So I was like, "I'll pass out flyers, hand distribution, whatever you need." And then me and Tisha ended up she's like one of my best friends to this day. And so you just never know where life will take you, and you go and you put the hard work in. So not only did it do well for me inside of Capitol Records, I gained a lifelong friend, and, you know, would have never guessed. So that, you know, yeah.
That's so dope.
Thank you. It was pretty surreal.
Go ahead, E.
So one of the questions, like, we've had a couple of other guests that have handled like mental health and things of that nature. One question that I like to ask is, because, you know, we have this thing of other people taking care of other people, right? So you're making sure other people are fine. My question is, what are your getaways? What do you do for your mental health breaks? And because you worry about, or you try to make sure everybody else is straight, but what is it that you do, or maybe your camp, that makes sure that you have to go do your stuff so that you can have the energy, the mindset, like you said, both mind and body, to make sure that you kind of present the energy that you've given us for as many years that you said. So you said you're the auntie in the room. So I'm not saying it's like a bunch of years, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right, 100%. Thank you for that question, E-Rich. So for me, and I have to just let y'all know, like, for those of y'all that are listening, I'm very vocal about it. In 2015, I came close to taking my own life. Nothing I am embarrassed about. I'm actually proud of the fact that I'm here. I'm on y'all's show. You know, I'm here doing my thing and trying to do something positive in the community. So mental and physical health is very important to me. One, I try to make sure that I eat healthy. I'm a sports fan. I'm a big football fan. So I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have my days where like I eat my wings and I might have a beer watching the game. But during the week, I try to like eat as healthy as I can, a lot of protein, getting exercise in, a lot of fruits and vegetables, and taking my vitamins. And I know some of that might sound like, oh, the regular stuff that you hear, but it really is about what you eat. Back in the day, I, tried dieting and stuff like that, but I realized like it's so much of what you put into your body, and that affects your mental and your physical health. And then just from a mental wealth perspective, like I take walks, I get outside. If I find myself getting stressed or just kind of having a moment, I get out into the sunlight and sunshine, right? And let that vitamin D hit my skin and get going and get moving, and that gets my endorphins going. Sometimes I might go to the gym. And then I lean into my emotions. Like anybody that has ever followed me or followed me on social media knows like I'm pretty transparent. So like if I'm having a moment, I'm gonna tell you that. Like I just posted a picture of my sister. Now my sister passed away 5 years ago unexpectedly, and her birthday's coming up next week. So I had a little ugly cry before the show. I was like, okay, let me pull it together. I gotta, but I try to lean into those moments, because if I keep those feelings and thoughts pinned up, or, I don't really let them out, then those can have a negative effect on me emotionally and physically, because stress is a known killer. Like, you got to be able to deal with that stress. And we all deal with stress differently, some in a healthy way, some in an unhealthy way. And sometimes when I was dealing with stress, that occasional cocktail turned into more. And so I try not to lean on substances. I try to lean on, my faith, peace, my girlfriends, my guy friends, my family. I believe community is really important. You ain't got to tell everybody what you're going through, but you need that one or two friends or people that's like not going to judge you and that can support you, and you can talk to them or talk through things with them, or even see a therapist. Obviously, from a mental health perspective, I'm a big proponent of therapy, but I tell people, if you went once, you didn't really like your therapist, don't knock it till you try it. It's kind of like dating. You got to keep swiping and keep going to try to find the right one. You're not going to give up on dating, right? Just because you had a bad date. So therapy is kind of the same way.
Nice. Okay. Since we're on a podcast and there's tons, billions, trillions of podcasts out there, and how was that transitioning, like starting your own podcast, deciding, okay, I'm going to do the Meebo Show. I'm going to start it. This is what it's going to be about. I'm going to have these guests. How has that been a difficult journey for you, just trying to find your lane or space within the podcast realm?
Yeah, I'm still growing. I'm in season 2. I definitely ain't got 208 episodes like y'all do. Kudos to you all. And I'm looking at the graphics and the production. I was like, shit, I got to step my game up. I am so impressed with y'all's show. But it's been great. So like season 1 was really fun for me, because last year, as we all know, hip hop turned 50. So I dedicated season 1 to hip hop turning 50. So I interviewed like a lot of my friends in hip hop, like Eric Sermon and I had a great live show talking about heart health. I interviewed DMC from Run DMC, Yo-Yo, MC Light, David Banner, just a bunch of great folks in hip hop. So you can definitely still go binge watch and listen to season 1 and 2. So that was cool. So I'm trying to find my footing and find ways, to amplify the show. I will say, because I feel like I live at the intersection of health and culture, like nobody's really in my lane. So I just need to like continue producing the show and putting it out there. And the show wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for my partners, Johnson & Johnson, who is, huge, obviously, in the health and wellness space. And they do a lot of different things, within the community. And so it's been good to partner with them. They'll have like either a medical expert on or either a community partner. So that allows us to have the lived experience perspective, but then get either the medical or the clinical side. So I'm excited about this. It's like, so when I was at Syracuse, television and radio and film was my major. So I feel like it's kind of a full circle moment, because that's where I know you all know Kendall B, who's one of the producers on my show. He's been helping me out in season 2 to do some of the production for the show. And so always trying to come up with creative ways to grow the show. That's why I'm grateful that you're having me on tonight and allowing me to talk about it. But I think it's so important, the show in and of itself, because we are talking about health, because y'all, every time again I look on social media, somebody is passed away, and it's not just older people dying. Like I remember back in the day, it's like young people passing away from whether it's mental health stuff or physical health issues. And so health really is the bag. Like, yeah, we all want the money, we want the bag, but health is your real bag, because without our good health, none of this matters. And so I just want to continue to find ways to amplify the Mebo show and keep putting the information out. Like I said, every day is a different day for us. Some days we're all good and everything is great from a health and wellness perspective, but we need those reminders, right, to keep going and to keep pushing, so that our bodies and our minds can be the best possible, and as best as possible they can be, rather.
Yeah. CB.
So Shanti, you've been pretty entrenched in the health and wellness space for a number of years now, right? And we're kind of talking about it now. Like, if I feel like the landscape has changed a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
How have you noticed it change? And do you think we're in general in a better space now, like in terms of the attention that health and wellness is getting compared to maybe where we were 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I do think we're in a better space. I think because of social media, the messaging is being amplified more. We're talking about it more, but it doesn't mean that there still isn't a lot of work to be done. Because again, we're human, we can see all the good information, hear it, but it doesn't mean we're going to actually do it, right? And do what we're supposed to do on a regular basis. But I am happy, especially from a mental health perspective. I think the pandemic, although it was hard on all of us, and, I wouldn't want to go through that again, that was the first time that most of us globally experienced anxiety, if we hadn't dealt with it in the past. And, we were all home. We were scared. We were fearful of our jobs. We didn't want to get sick. We had family members passing and friends around us. And so we became really anxious. And so we had to sit in our thoughts and in our feelings. And that was really scary for a lot of us. But it also allowed a lot of people to start opening up and helping to normalize the conversation around mental health. And, CB, like you said, like I've been in this space now for 8, almost 9 years before people were talking about mental health. And so I never thought in a million years. I was a big music exec and kind of walked away from it all. I never thought I would become this mental health advocate, and now kind of overall just a health advocate. But I feel like I'm right where I need to be. And as things continue to get more difficult in the world, I feel like I'm able to use my voice and my platform, and then kind of, jump back into the space that I was in, being able to talk to athletes and musicians. And, it's just really humbling to see Jeezy, when he released his book a few months ago, he was doing a video interview on Essence magazine, and they asked him well, who was his inspiration or has inspired him? And he's talking more about his mental health. And he was like, well, my sis Shanti Das, or hearing Killer Mike, shout out to Killer Mike, talking about me and my organization, Silence the Shame, which is my mental health nonprofit that I run. And so, just seeing artists and different people really appreciate the work and appreciate our voice and our platform, it means the world, because again, we're helping people, try to live their best lives, literally,
Yeah.
Hey.
So you kind of actually touched on something that I want to bring up, and the fellas know I'm usually that one on here. That's why I got the tagline Black Wall Street. What is it? Okay, so you mentioned the pandemic, and I feel like, we've talked about this on this podcast. People had to figure out, they had to find something to do. A lot of people picked up a microphone and a camera, and they just started talking to until somebody heard them. Just because they do the dramatic, I'm looking off to the side and the cameras, I'm not talking to the camera, kind of giving that, that vibe. But when you hear the message, you realize you can't listen to everybody, right? You have to have something that's around that person has substance, because you've either seen their work or somebody stamped them as that person that has actually provided, some real, we like to call food for life, what I mean, and energy around them. how do you feel like the navigation side of that is going to happen? Because like I said, people see you, right? They know who you are in that lane. But I feel like it's so watered down, and there's so many like just kind of extra people that are out there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like weeding out those people that are just on there just to, kind of clickbait that's really watering down what we're really trying to get to, which is that mental health and wellness?
Thank you, Erich. That's a wonderful question. I feel like it's so many people on the mic, period. And like it's a gazillion podcasts out there. It's a lot of people on Instagram doing lives. And you just have to, I love this word. It's one of my favorite words, discernment. You just got to be able to really discern like what's good, what's healthy, what's right for you. And I'm sure all of us are pretty good judge of characters. And, even it's no different if somebody sends me a video, right? And it's supposed to be a motivational video. I can usually tell in the first minute where this is going. And if this is somebody that doesn't really kind of like identify with like my core values and, somebody that I can kind of vibe with, like I have to turn that off. I don't let that negative energy into my spirit, because some people are trying to capitalize off of wellness and self-care. And, you see self-care in every single thing now, in every ad. And it's like, okay, it's not a fad. Like some people actually are out there struggling with their mental health, and they can't even, have the, they don't even have the strength to get the help that they need. And so you got to have discernment, and you got to be able to weed it out, and you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. And so I'm very particular about my social media time, my screen time, what I look at. I try to look at things that come recommended from others. And yeah, I try to weed through the bullshit, excuse my language. Now, I'm not knocking somebody if they're like out there trying and they're trying to get going and they may need some support. I'll even push them resources, right? If you really are serious about this thing, let me connect you with some clinicians, or let me connect you to some organizations that can kind of help shape your story. Or if you've gone through something tragic or traumatic and you want to start sharing your story, and we see that people, a lot of people write their own books, and, they become podcasters and want to share their story, but there's an art to sharing your story too, right? There's actually people that can actually help train you how to actually tell your story. And so I try not to like knock people, and I try to lift them up if I can, but I am very particular about what I watch, who I listen to. And I'm a real spiritual person too, and I don't push my faith on anyone. But I think my spirituality also gives me that discernment on like who comes into my spirit, and who, how I let people in, or how I view things as well.
Yeah, I think with the way times are now and how desensitized everything is on social media, internet, you gotta believe in something, right? You don't have to. You got to believe in something, right? The spirit, we got to be in touch with our spiritual side, because
whatever God, whoever or whatever you believe in, to your point, absolutely. And I mean, there's so much disinformation out there, whether it's political, from a business perspective, for a social perspective. It's almost like you don't know what to believe now, right? And so you want to try to go with those trusted voices, or people, to your point, Erich, has kind of been out for a while, them, and so it's a tough thing, but you got to try to like tread lightly on what you let into your spirit.
Before we transition to the next portion of this, I want to take a couple questions that people have in the chat. Tia asked, who would be your dream guest on the Meebo show?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Thank you. So I really want, I've been wanting to get Shaquille O'Neal, because I want to talk about either knee replacements or something from an ortho perspective. And I just think he'd be really funny. So I love to get Shaq on the show. And then, Deion Sanders. I really want to interview Prime Time. And because he's been open about mental health lately and everything that he's gone through. And he went through some physical challenges as well. So I think Prime Time would make Prime Time and Shaq. That's on my wish list.
Well, we're gonna manifest that. That's gonna happen. We all about manifestation here. That's coming soon. One more from Jen. Jen says, what is the most beneficial thing we can do for mental wellness?
Wow, Great question. Thank you, Jen, for that question. I think one of the most beneficial things that you can do is first, you got to trust your feelings. If you think something is not right, you got to lean into that. I'm always coining like these acronyms. So for RAP, R-A-P. So the R in RAP is recognizing those unfamiliar thoughts and feelings that you might be experiencing. And then after it happens, you got to accept that it happened, like the acknowledgement and acceptance of it. Because a lot of times, y'all, if we do something or we act out, it'll happen, but we'll act like it didn't. And you just kind of bury it and hide it and like, oh, okay, maybe I was just having a day. But when it starts becoming a pattern, you got to address that. So you got to recognize it, accept it, and then process through it with a professional. Don't just call your best friend. You can talk to your spouse about it or your partner, but you need to talk to a professional, whether that's a therapist, a psychiatrist, calling your doctor. So doing that. And then the last thing I'll say is establishing boundaries. Boundaries are really important professionally and personally. Like I try not to answer work emails after 5 or 6 o'clock. I have a staff of 6 at my nonprofit. And I used to, especially coming from the music industry, I text people 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night and our staff, and we would respond, back and forth. And so I try to be mindful of my own time and other people's time. And so I set those boundaries. And then also if it's some things that I feel like are personal and I don't want to talk about or discuss, then you got to respect my boundaries. So being unapologetic about your boundaries and your time, and then also taking care of your mental health and knowing when it's time to get help.
Okay. Let me see. One last question from Roland. How have you done put that up, CB? How have you done a show linking mental health and physical health? Most don't realize there is a reason.
So I haven't dedicated one specific show to talking about the connection of mental and physical health. We've talked about it from different, we pick different health topics. Like I said, it could be mental health. I had Tisha Campbell on talking about her lung disorder that she had, sarcoidosis. And so that has come out in some of the episodes, but that's a great episode. And so I might do that for season 3. So thank you. But there are so many, different diseases that we address, and they talk about how, both affects the other, the mental and the physical aspect of it.
Okay. Well, that's great transition, because we want to be respectful of time and your time, especially, and our time. But I want to thank you for the interview portion. We're about to move on to some fun things, but thank you again for being here tonight. So now we ask everybody this question because we are big hip hop heads, music heads, and we love movies. So the homework that we give everybody, we call the top 3. Now we ask you, what are your top 3 movies or albums? We normally say of all time, but it's hard. 5 is easy. 3 sometimes is a difficult question. So let's start with the movies. What'd you come up with movies for your top 3?
So, okay, again, I don't know if it's of all time, but when I think of a favorite movie, it's something that I can watch over and over and over again, right? So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, particularly the first trilogy and then the second trilogy. But like I'll just watch Star Wars randomly on a Wednesday night. It might be on TNT. Like I am that chick. Love it, love it, love it. And then next, I would probably say Scarface. That's just such a classic movie. I used to be able to recite all the lines, even though it's a little violent. Scarface is well made, and it's just such a great film. And then this is tough, but I would probably say either like 5 Heartbeats or Boys in the Hood. Like I was a big 90s fan of Black cinema, and so those were like some of my favorite films from that era.
Good. Okay, what about albums?
Whew. Okay, Prince, Purple Rain, hands down. Favorite album of all time. Favorite album of all time. 1984. Prince, Purple Rain. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 would probably be Michael Jackson, Off the Wall.
Oh yeah, we've had this debate before. Okay, good one.
Classic. And then just because I worked this album, and I think it's one of the best albums made. Outkast on the playlist.
Oh my gosh! There you go. Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. What'd you say?
I'm so happy you said that. We've had conversations about their discography, and I've always said that first one. That first one is different.
Oh,
All right. Now, speaking of different, let's talk about DC Shop Pie. The official pizza of the We Are Something Else podcast. Save 10%, WRSE10. Go to DC Shop Pie. It's a black-owned Chicago deep dish pizza place based out of the DMV area. Shout out to Grant. Shout out to Margaret. So they got pizzas like the steak and cheese, salmon pesto, regular cheese, pepperoni, turkey sausage, all that. And if you don't like deep dish pizza, you got the Georgetown, the Northwest Georgetown, which is the Euro pizza. You got the Southeast Big Chair, which is fried chicken and mammo sauce. Or you can do the Drop the Bomb bread pudding. So hit up DC Shop Pie, save 10%, WRSE10. All right. Okay. Now, this is the part where if you liked E. Rich, you're probably not going to like him after this because... All right, this is the unpopular opinion segment where our brother E. Rich gives his opinion or thoughts on certain things. E, give her one. Is it just E that you've done before that may have stirred up some controversy?
Okay. Shanti, again, they don't like that I say the things that they really think about or that they should say. I just say it. So one of the biggest kind of, I guess, if you will, turn offs of the comment section that everybody else that I said was that lemon pepper wings are actually trash. So see, okay, listen, all right, you too, huh? Okay, listen, it's not consistent. You either get too much lemon or you get too much pepper or no lemon. It just is. You know what?
From the right spot, brother.
I hear that, but again, it's too inconsistent to be a thing where they type
are overrated. I like the dry, but okay.
There it is. So that's what this kind of segment is. I say things and I just kind of get people kind of up in arms. But you know, so we are in October.
Okay.
This is October. This is my favorite season. This is spooky season. But we have to address, you know, the elephant in the room, if you will, which is the candy. And you know, we give candy a lot of I think we give some candy a little bit too much praise, and I think we just have to be honest about some of the candy that we should really just decide to get rid of. And so I've kind of created a quick little list of candy that should no longer be even available, let alone should be considered Halloween candy. So my bro's gonna put up a couple of them, and we're just gonna go through them.
All right. Hey, Kendall.
Shout out.
You know,
bro, boy, stop playing.
Now listen. I'm sorry, but listen. Most of these don't have flavor. There's no flavor for the dots. Candy corn, there isn't. It's just sugar. Plastic. Whoppers. Again, the fact that they're still making those when I remember my parents giving those out when we were kids, and they're old. Anyway, shout out to my Dukes and Pops. Again, Almond Joy, nobody likes Almond Joy. That's just not even a thing. Tootsie Rolls don't taste like anything. Dots don't taste. Circus Peanuts are a mind-blowing thing that is actually a candy. I thought it was fake. I thought it was like a toy that you get in the candy, but I didn't know it was really a toy, like a candy. Right. And again, saltwater taffy, like most of this stuff right here, all of this stuff right here, there's no flavor. We got to get rid of this. These are no longer acceptable in Halloween.
Except them Tootsie Rolls, because like Tootsie Rolls, I grew up eating, and I still eat them to this day. So
Tootsie Rolls was just something to quiet us while we was in church. That's all it was. It was something to give us to quiet us while we was in church. There was no real flavor. It was just sugar. At this point now, unless it's like the cherry flavor, they got hip one time and they tried to come out with some flavors. This ain't it. This got to go. Some of these things, if I see these in a candy jar from my niece,
makers, keep the Tootsie Roll going. Everything else can go.
Yeah, I agree. I love the Tootsie Rolls. The bit of honey is okay.
Younger than me, but my generation, boy, we fighting. You're not getting rid of the Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, the Tootsie Roll, the bit of honey is good too. But yeah, circus peanuts are like, they feel like the little stress things. Like when you have
stress ball
at your desk. Yeah, so
what am I just doing?
But the candy corns, yeah, them things, I ain't never got to see them no more ever.
see, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, that's why if you see the comment section, they don't like me because I'm just saying some of the stuff got to go. Like they accept this and they be like, oh, it's all right. Like
you got lemon heads on there because we were really gonna have to fight.
Nah, see, lemon heads is still official, right? You can't go wrong. Lemon heads, like with sunflower seeds, is kind of like you got to have the staple. You got to have one and the other at the same time. But again, some of the stuff got to go. There's just no flavor. There's no taste. It was just a thing to say that's what they were. But again, you know, Tootsie Rolls could be like the equivalent of the Werther's Originals at this point. It's just
at least I thought the Werther's Original. So it has the Werther's Original on the nap every day. There we go. Share for you, E. All right. Well, I mean, CB, thoughts on this list?
I mean, most of these candies you only see like this month of the year, and circus peanuts you can actually substitute for packing peanuts when and stuff. So, I'll be honest, like it's a good thing my dad isn't listening in because he might be the one person on the face of the earth that loves Almond Joys and keeps them in business. And that's a large man. So I don't mess with Pops. Almond Joy's got to stay just because of that.
All right. What do we have? Oh, this. All right, CB. What do we have for that cop or chop this week?
All right, so this is this segment where we bring up a sneaker that either is coming out soon or was announced, and we're going to see who's interested in it, who would be copping or chopping. And it was recently announced that they're bringing back Holiday 2025, the Off-White Jordan 1 High. It's rumored that the pair that they're going to be releasing is an homage to like his first sample that he did. So already known for being super deconstructed, but it seems like this one might be more minimalist. So we'll see. It's not even holiday 2024 yet, so we got a while to wait. But
I hate that they're giving us a year ahead.
I mean, dude, have you already seen like Jordan for 2025 has already given me so many copper chop segments, bro. There are so many joints coming out next year that are like on the radar.
Who's in debt for next year?
I mean, you know, we need to do something that works so we get those holiday bonuses, bro. We got to do something. I can't keep relying on fantasy football every year, but these joints are rumored to be $250 retail. So this is not like, that's not resale. That's the retail price, $250. Sneakers are just getting more and more expensive, man. So if you had the opportunity to cop these for the retail price, just with only the information that we have now, because I don't have a pair of the original Off-White ones. And so for me, I would definitely be going after these. It feels different. And y'all can comment on this if you want, because Virgil's not here anymore, right? So it's definitely a different feel to all of the Off-White stuff. But you know, this was a model that he had his hand directly in. So I think that this is one that Nike can get away with putting out post, you know, RIP and all that, you know, after he's passed. But I'm excited about it. What about you guys? You copping or chopping?
So believe it or not, since it's a year away and the way I feel right now, I'm a chop because I already got the pairs that I wanted. I don't need them next year. I can spend the $250 on something else because I'm sure there's gonna be something else I need. So as of right now, I'll chop it.
It's a cop because Virgil did it, and it's not a bad silhouette or whatever whatever it comes out to be. Clearly, we've seen some other ones that they tried to drop out of Virgil's that I think the hiking looking boots thing that our money got, like I didn't like those. I just didn't get it just because it was a Virgil situation or off-white, but these for sure are a cop.
Okay. Shanti, if you had a hand at getting a pair of these off-white Jordans that come out next year, would you cop them or chop them?
It's not really my thing just because my height, I'm short, so the high tops don't really work for me. And I don't even know if they're in kid sizes. But I would cop it just to support Virgil and his family and the legacy.
Okay.
Keep it going.
Oh, yeah.
No. All right. Let's get into Shoe and Tell. TB, what did you bring this week for Shoe and Tell?
We'll see how this stuff shows up on like the green screen and all that. But yeah, you can't even see the box. Hold on.
KD. It says KD.
Yeah, it says KD on there. I already showed one of these, but I got the Weatherman's.
You're green. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to stand in front of it.
Sneakerheads know what it is, yeah.
But I got the re-release, and I mean the original ones of these are just they're so sick, man. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped that I got these. These have already touched earth. You know how it is. Wear your sneakers.
Okay. E.
So this is going to be a little rant with this, but I'll keep it short. I did see that DJ Khaled was coming out with some more colorways of the fives, and I guess next year I'll be talking about the death of the fives because of DJ Khaled. So I'm going to show a pair of fives. Again, you can't really see the colorway, but again, I'm just kind of supporting the fives right now because as soon as he comes out with the colors, it's over for the fives. Again, we're slowly declining on what shoes that I feel like you can still wear that have some nostalgia to it based upon what we said. Like the 11s are gone. You can't wear a pair of 11s now and make it seem like you're really doing something. And the ones are definitely shot because of Travis Scott and everything that he does every year with that. So RIP to the fives next year, because as soon as Cali drops these next couple of colors, I'm not wearing fives anymore.
Yep. I should have actually showed my off-whites if I was thinking whatever. But CB had already he led with one pair tonight, and he had already showed the other pair. And I was going to show. I'll show the other one. There we go. Everybody knows what that is. Again, the other KD. Some of the KD drops this year. The fours are nothing but grails. This was a good run for KD. These are the Nerfs. CB.
So dope.
But yeah, there we go. Very colorful. I'll post a picture later. But yeah, these were on the must-have list for the year. I got them. So, yep, that's that. Shanti, now, did you bring anything for Copper Chop? If not, let's go ahead and.
I did. I will say this much. Little disclaimer. So, and Kendall B will tell you, like, I wore a bunch of sneakers, Nikes. I had the Patrick Ewins, like all those back in the day. I was a sneakerhead when I did college radio. As I got older and started working, making a few coins, I like high-end sneakers, designer sneakers, as well as just, the Nikes, Adidas, Reeboks, and all those. So, and I also, at this stage in my life, I like to, I like vintage shopping, and I do a lot of thrifting. So I was in Paris last summer, and I just thought this was so dope, and I found these at a vintage store. They are like hard steel toes, Adidas, the rose gold. I just thought those were so dope. So yeah,
those are crazy.
Those are nice.
And the lady was like, "You only could find these in Europe. I don't even think these are in America." So yeah, there's that.
That's what we call on the Kindle B show a slight flex. So look, we are at the point where we've had an amazing show. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you. Let's put you back up here because everybody needs to know where they can find you, your social media, when the Meebo show is out. Let's talk about the nonprofit. Let's talk about all that. TLC Chris CrossFits. Let everybody know where they can find you and everything that you got your hands in that you want us to pay attention to.
Absolutely. First of all, thank y'all. Thank you, Kendall, for even recommending me. Y'all are really cool. I will be tuning in. Y'all are hilarious. I love your energy and wish y'all nothing but the best. So you can follow me on Instagram at Shanti Das 404. Follow the Meebo Show at the Meebo Show. It's on YouTube and it's on all audio platforms for podcasts. And then my nonprofit, if you're looking for resources, you just want to learn more around mental health, it's called Silence, Silence, The Shame. So follow us also on Instagram and go to our website. Like I said, we got a ton of resources there. I'm always like out speaking in the community and just trying to share my story. I have a new book coming out in a couple weeks. It's 20 tips on navigating grief through the holidays. It's called Have Yourself a Merry Little Griefmas, Griefmas. And so just giving people tips on navigating grief. And then I have my own book called Silencing My Shame that's available on my website, shantidas.biz. But yeah, please follow the Meebo Show. Tune in. We have a new episode that just dropped this week featuring the actress Yvette Nicole Brown. It's a really powerful show. She is a caregiver now for her father with Alzheimer's. So it's a show on Alzheimer's and caregiving. And we have 2 more episodes dropping this year, and then we'll be launching season 3 in March of 2025. So check me out.
Appreciate it. All right. A couple closing notes on our end. So you see us, me and CB, E-Rich doesn't have his yet, but it's in the mail, I promise you. We're wearing the new PJ shirts, which will be available shortly for pre-sale. So everybody pay attention to that. But again, Shanti, we appreciate you. Kendall, special shout out to Kendall for making this happen.
The GOAT.
Great guy, and hopefully Kendall will be back on the morning show tomorrow. Kendall be morning show where you can find on Station Head, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then you can find me right after Kendall B with the abstract about noon 05-ish Eastern Standard Time on Station Head. So, and then next week we're teasing it. We got a special guest host next week. They know who they are. Hopefully everybody be back next week to figure out who it is, because it's going to be a really, really good one. But other than that, go support somebody this weekend. Free show. We'll be back with Soul Tales in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. In the last Thursday of the month. But go support somebody. Support the Meebo Show. Just do something dope this weekend. That's all we got. Hold on 1 second once we close out. Shanti, just have some closing talk real quick off air. But that's it, fellas. Get everything. Oh, no. Here it is. Gen X TV. I forgot. Let me put me on the spotlight. You can now find We Are Something Else on Gen X TV, since we are now partnered with Gen X TV. We've already uploaded shows and start streaming there. Shout out to Gen X TV. Shout out, again, Black-owned network. You can download it on Roku and Fire TV. Coming to Android and Apple, hopefully by the end of the year. But things are moving for us. But that's it. We Are Something Else, episode 208. Gotta be. Hold on, where's that magical button? It is right.
Follow us on YouTube at WRSC Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe. Peace.